With another chapter of Formula One about to start, will it be the same story? Or will we have some new surprises? We're here to break this all down for you. Welcome into the F1 Starting Grid. I'm your lovely host, Brock Young. We have the Mike Allen joining us right now. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Ready for I'm ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow it starts.
I'm just itch. I got goosebumps right now. Oh man, this is exciting times. We have, in fact, we're about to break down Bahrain here. It is a beautiful track, in my opinion, at least. It's not the longest track, but it's not the shortest track. It is about the middle part of the calendar. It's 25 turns, 3.3 miles in length. That's about 5.4 kilometers. The distance of the race itself is 308 kilometers, which comes up to be 191 miles. And I know there's only two tracks in the Middle East right now because we're going to discuss Jeddah here in a minute. But for me, I love this much better than Abu Dhabi. I think it's I just love night courses altogether. I think it's just a beautiful course. I don't know what is your take on the new track there?
Well, I like what they did last year when they had two races at Bahrain because one was canceled. I think it was the U.S. race was canceled. So they had two races at Bahrain. And the course is set up and has so many different configurations for Grand Prix racing, for endurance racing, for everything. And it was cool that they had the first race, they had the lights around the course, and then they flipped the switch and it flipped it to the new course, kind of like a visual. And that was kind of neat. It's a well-maintained track. A lot of money went into it. It's one of the from what I hear, it's one of the favorite tracks to run on. Not the weather, because it's very hot. And of course, when you're sitting in a race car, it's very hot. But the course is just challenging enough. A lot of great straightaways, a lot of opportunities to overtake. So it's a nice course. I like it. I like playing it on that game you got me hooked on too, by the way.
I actually quit playing that game. I'm sorry.
That's my favorite. Hey, when I have my alone time on my magical poop stealing water chair, I'm right in there, man, in the DRS, trying to get through.
I don't know where to take it from here. I appreciate that.
The Bahrain's going to be fun. The last, I just brought this up because we're going to talk about our predictions of who's going to win. The last, I just had it up. The last six races were split between Ferrari and Mercedes. So it was either Lewis Hamilton, the Nico Rosberg won it in 14 and 15. It was Mercedes with Lewis. 16, Nico Rosberg won it. And Sebastian Vettel won it 2 years in a row, 17 and 18. And then 19 and 20, it was Lewis Hamilton. So, and we were talking a little bit before the show when we were talking about the drivers. Right now, Lewis Hamilton with the car that he's in and just where he's set himself up with, it's his to lose. Really, if someone's going to win at Bahrain, something's going to have to happen to Lewis Hamilton. His car's going to have to break down. He's going to have an accident or get a penalty for something to hold him back, which is what happened last year. The only races Lewis Hamilton did not win were the ones where he did not finish or he got penalized. So, it's hard to bet against him. He's like, he's the Tom Brady of F1. You can't bet against him. It's if everything's working right and his car's working, he's tough to beat.
Well, to that point, also, the two races they had in Bahrain were memorable for two different reasons. One is George Russell, and you pointed out about Lewis Hamilton not finishing or not participating in that race. And the second one was Romain Grosjean's terrible crash that happened. Do you see any special event happening this go around?
I hope it's a clean race. I hope that somebody challenges for the podium. I would like to see more parity. Of course, I'm going to be pulling for my team Williams. We've had some lean years the last 5 years. And something I like doing is and YouTube is so fantastic, by the way. And if anybody wants to really look back into the history of F1. I can't remember the channel. I think it's called The Race. But you can go back and have like a preview of year 1991, and that previews the whole year, and you can watch all those drivers and stuff. But what now the preview for the last 3 years has been pretty much the same: Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen. So in Bahrain, it's Hamilton's to lose. Verstappen's going to be right up in there if his car, especially with Honda the way it is. I would even Verstappen's the only one that I think that has an outside chance of taking the crown from Hamilton, and it could be his last year, only because Honda has thrown everything at this, because it's basically they're getting out of gasoline engines. So this is the last. They want to go out on top, and Red Bull's a good team. They're a fantastic team. So. I mean, it's hard to sit here and say anything but Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. If there's no mechanical difficulties, anything outside of just racing. If they run a clean race, that's your top three. And it's an easy pick, and I know there's no challenge. I'm not stepping out on a limb here, but that's. Until things change and we get a little more information, you can't bet against Hamilton.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and do the picks now since you gave us yours. Chaz has Lewis, Bottas, and Max, which I think that's a good all-around pick. Now I got to be different. I'm going to die on this hill. I know it's. I agree with you, Mike. I think it's going to be Lewis. Lewis is Hamilton's one last year. We're going to get to the Twitter poll here in a minute, but Lewis Hamilton's last year, I think he's still going to win the championship. It's still Mercedes going to win the constructors. I could be wrong. I don't know, but going into this race with, I still think Mercedes doesn't have all together from, yes, it's testing a couple weeks ago. They're going to fix whatever they're going to fix, but I just got to be different. So I want to do this right here. I got Max at number 1, Lewis at number 2, and I was debating if I put Bottas number 3, but once again, I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to put Sergio as number 3.
Wow, look at you!
Yeah. And so,
I think he's capable. I think he's going to have a good car. I think he's, a lot of these drivers are held back because of their car. We saw that with George Russell last year when he stepped into the seat to take Hamilton's place, and he was leading the race, and all of a sudden something went wrong with the car. I mean, come on. Come on. They can't have somebody else win in a Mercedes car, and it's not Hamilton, especially George Russell, who hasn't gotten out of 17th place the entire season. All of a sudden he's P1. Come on.
I know Williams was calling, stop, make him stop. No, don't win him. Don't do something in the pits, please. No.
It wasn't Williams. Williams would have been glad to have him win, because then it would. Well, and that's another thing about the TV series, that they just glossed over the whole changeover at Williams. It's decades of one of the oldest teams in F1, and it's like, oh yeah, it's your last one. Bye. I would have dedicated a whole, at least a whole episode to just that, because there was a time when Williams was F1 racing.
Right.
They were constantly winning the Constructors Challenge. They were constantly having, Nigel Mansell, Senna. I mean, just killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, they're tweeting out, yay, 17th and 18th. Come on, what? Are you happy your car's made it across the finish line?
Yeah.
Dead last? I mean, come on.
Now, once again, I'm going out on a limb. I'm not going down on this hill though. Ferrari was saying that they were hoping that their expectations for this year is number 3. Now, I have them at number 3 in my picks as far as constructors, but they had a pretty good testing. I think Carlos will probably be a benefit to that team. I don't see him lasting more than a few years, because I think Schumacher will probably get into that seat. I think unless something happens, I think Charles is their number one guy right now. It will be that way for a couple years.
Mhm.
I do see
Oh
some.
yeah.
I do see some good things with Ferrari, though. I think they're going to be very. I think it'll be very competitive, at least going into Bahrain, because they were very good in testing. Um, they have a new power unit, and I think they're the type of team. They're not like Haas right now, thank God, who's shooting for 2022 or whatever they're doing. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I think they're really trying to work at this season, and so I think they're going to have something special this season. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if Charles maybe even get to the number three on the podium in Bahrain. But I'm still sticking with Sergio. So, um, but I want to talk about this Williams right quick. I think you're on to something here. I don't have him as high. I think I have him like at number 7 or 8 on my picks for the whole entire year. But I think they probably will be able to do something this season. I think they probably start this weekend in Bahrain. I think George Russell and their team with Dalton Capital and the new CEO and new leads they have there. I think they're probably be able to do something in this season. I think George Russell will probably give them a run for their money in Bahrain this season.
Well, they'd definitely be midfield. They tested well, but I got to be honest with you. I watched I went back and watched the replay of it. I didn't watch it live, so I could just really kind of take my time and watch it. And I haven't seen that many sandbags since the invasion of Normandy. I mean, you know, well, that Mercedes has a better car than what they rolled out there, and like, oh, I don't know what kind of problems we're having. Come on, man, it's all theater.
Mm.
Uh, I was encouraged by Ferrari though, and the Ferrari used to be like the New York Yankees of F1. Everybody loves to hate Ferrari because when you go to Italy, you're not going to get a seat to watch at Monza unless you're Italian, and and they've had a great history with F1, and they're one of the historical teams, and I like the fact that they kind of went back to their older red and got away from that. They're kind of reaching back to their history, and I want to see them do well. You want to see them do well because you gotta love Ferrari. Because Alonso Ferrari once said, "Aerodynamics is for those who can't build engines."
I love it.
That is my favorite quote from Ferrari. That was back in the day when it was back in the day. It's not now. Now it's this combination of both. But just a rich racing history. So I want to see them do well just because they should do well.
Yeah.
They have the heritage to do well.
And to your point on that, I mean, we talked about the liveries last week, and I know they're not going to have it on their car, but I could not stand that green mission window on their car. I know they're not going to have it on their car this season, but it's just for me, that blend.
Hey, that's a callback though. It's a callback.
But I like that blend between looking at it now, the bright red the Ferrari red going into that burgundy. I kind of like it. I mean, I'm warming up to it more and more, and seeing it in testing underneath those lights look really good. What about Yuki?
That's the dark horse, isn't it? I mean, he's on a good team. He's a good racer. He's come out of he's come out of a good heritage. Oh man, everything's going on here. All right. He made it to F1 and he knocked out some seasoned F1 drivers to get his seat. So, he's the unknown right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. He drove well in testing. I mean, he's obviously fearless. So and coming up through F3 and F2, he's one of the ones to beat. So it's good to see. I mean, it's good to see a non-European in a seat, and you kind of have to root. You got to root for him. You know, I'd like to see an American in there. I'd like to see uh, more drivers from Japan, since Honda and especially Yamaha have such deep roots in racing. I think more. Uh, more drivers should come out of those countries.
Absolutely.
And other Japanese drivers have come into F1 and done very well. And how cool would that be, that if Yuki came out of nowhere and just blew everybody away and was right there on the podium most weekends pushing Hamilton for the championship? That would be cool. That would be something I could root for.
Even though you don't like Red Bull, and AlphaTauri is the
Well, it's not that I don't like Red Bull. I don't like Haas. Red Bull is kind of like the one you have to beat. So, of course, you're going to have a little bit of animosity. I would like to see AlphaTauri do better than Red Bull. That would be cool.
with Yuki, it's a possibility. I really truly, the man is humble. He not only is learning, but he also, being 20 years old, he also already has a wealth of knowledge. He has one of the shortest tenures in the development stages from Formula 4 all the way to Formula 2. He has one of the shortest stages because he's that good.
Yeah.
And I just feel that he has that championship potential in him. In fact, coming up later on in the coming weeks, we're going to have a poll out too for you guys. Who will win the championship first? Will it be Schumacher or will it be Tsunoda?
Oh, that's wow.
That's going to come up in the next couple of weeks, though.
But we don't really know how good Schumacher is. We know how good his dad was.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously he had that mentorship and he came up through the ranks like everybody else. And he got a seat on F1. But you kind of have to, that's kind of a Lance Stroll type thing. He's got a seat in F1 because of what his dad did and what he's done up to this point with that little bit of advantage. Now he's got to prove himself. So, it's one of those things where it's very rare in sports where a son follows a father to the same level. So I'm going to root for him, but if you were to ask me today who I think has a better chance of being better or winning a championship first, I'm going to go with Yuki. Just because he came out of nowhere. He had to fight for everything he's got.
Which actually leads us to our Twitter question this past week. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago with Chaz and I, but and once again, I'm going to die on this hill. I really believe, and I think you too, Mike, that this is going to be Lewis Hamilton's last year.
I think so too.
I think with everything in place, I know you said they're sandbagging. Mercedes is sandbagging right now, but I see the cracks happening at Mercedes right now. One of the engineers that developed this hybrid winning car for them left last year. You have these new rules and regulations coming out. You're going to have the salary cap. You're going to have the spending cap. You're going to have all these other items. Plus, I still feel there's something into this. Lewis Hamilton only signed a 1-year contract. I think there's something up. And I wish Chad.
I think it's his last year. I think that's it. He wants to win one more than Michael Schumacher. Right now they're tied for championships. He's already got him on pole positions. He's already got him on podiums and races. I think he passed him on races.
Yeah.
So the only record left is the world championship. And right now him and Michael Schumacher both have 7. And, that's one of those things that once you get 8, it's going to be a long, long time before that record falls, if ever. I make a lot of comparisons to the NFL. We're not going to see in our lifetime another driver like Lewis Hamilton, I think, to have the sustained greatness that he's had married with the manufacturer and the car and just the team around him, and having a great car for so long, and even at McLaren, when he won his first world championships, McLaren was winning the constructors championship. So he's always had a good car underneath him. And 8 world championships is, especially with all the new rules, suspending it's kind of like a video game that we play where you have to have the chips and you got to pick which thing you put in there. And, you got so many things to do. And so, they're asking, what are you spending your tokens on for the car? Well, it's going to be great parity, but then it's also going to take away anybody's opportunity to win championship after championship after championship after championship, which is good in a way because it keeps people interested in the sport. Mm-hmm. This is the first race of 2021. We have the 3 top podiums, and it's the same 3 top podiums that pretty much, unless the car breaks down or they wreck or they get penalized, always are at the top 3.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick against that until we're proven wrong. Until Hamilton runs a race, runs it clean, has a good car, and gets beat by another constructor and another driver, it's his to lose. So, but I think this is his last year. He's going to win the driver championship. Mercedes will win the constructors championship again. And you're right, the cracks are there because you spend so long at a certain level, it's hard to maintain. Egos get involved. It's hard to maintain that greatness. The fact that, sports teams can do it, or just any team can do it for a sustained amount of time, is a testament to the leadership, really. And Mercedes has always been grounded in good leadership. But you're right, the cracks are showing. I think they're kind of getting tired of each other. I think Lewis is kind of getting tired, because guys like him need a challenge. They need to be challenged. And when you're at the top all the time, and you're just beating the socks off of people. I mean, he got penalized 10 seconds, came out in 14th place, and in 7 laps got up to 9th or 8th. It's like,
well,
what are we doing?
I want to discuss that with you.
You tack on 5-6 more laps, and he's in the podium after getting a 10-second delay penalty.
But was that him or was that the car?
Well, it's got to be a combination of the both. You have to be a good driver to drive a good car. I mean, you can have the best car in the world, but if you don't have the courage to drive it to its limits, then it's not going to do anything for you. Russell is one of those guys that has that courage. He just doesn't have a good car.
Yeah.
Then you got other guys that, you could put the best car underneath them you can, and they just don't have the courage to drive it to the limit. And he's got both. He's a great driver. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was all car and none of it was him. He's a great driver. He'll go down in history as one of the great F1 drivers. And that is already established. Even if he doesn't win the championship this year, I think it's his last year.
Y'all talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I want to come back to it. What if, and Chaz thought you could put him in any car and you'll still win the championship?
No.
I disagree.
I think if he were to drive for Williams would be mid-pack, but he would, when it comes right down to it, if you put him in a Williams car, he's not winning the drivers' championship. You put him in a Haas car, forget it. And he'll get frustrated and quit because the car just won't go to the limit that he can drive it. And it's not, I don't think it's one of those cases where you stick him in any car and he's going to win the drivers' championship. Not at all. I think throughout his career, his ability has always been matched by the team's ability to match a car to his ability to get the best out of him and best out of the machine, because he's going to get the best out of that machine. He might finish better than dead last, but you're not going to go nose to nose with a Mercedes with a Haas car. There's just no way. Ever. And I hope somebody from Haas has listened to this. It's pathetic, man. Pathetic. Oh, we just wanted to get a point this year. What the hell? That's not even the American spirit. You know what I mean? You ought to be putting like missile launchers on that thing. It's like we're taking out everybody. We're going to go in here and just run it. That's the American spirit. I can't believe he said that.
Yeah, my rage is about to come back on Haas, so
Oh,
I'm trying to be simple on here. But I wish Chaz was here because I talking off air, Mike. I wanted to pose him that question. He said this many a times. This when we've been doing the show. It's Mercedes. They'll find a way to win. Yes, for this season possibly, but how long can you say that? How much longer can you say that? Once again, the cracks are there. Once again, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm not saying by this point next year, but sometime next year, you will not be able to say that. Maybe towards the end part of the next year, but you want to see slowly seeing this cracks coming in. It's going to start this season.
mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they've had a good run.
Mm-hmm.
All dynasties come to an end. New England.
The new one has begun in Tampa Bay.
For at least the next 3 years.
I just saw this, and this is going to be like something we have not discussed off air, but I just came across an article. One of my favorite drivers of all time, he's coming back with Alpine, Fernando Alonso, said that he is better than Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, and Raikkonen. That is a bold statement.
And you know it. He's gone nose to nose with all of them. Yeah, and he's beaten all of them. So he's one of the few drivers that say he has beaten all of them. So, I mean, we could see an upset of the apple cart, and that would be cool if we did. I mean, I understand for anybody watching, when we make these predictions, we're just making it out the information we have. I would love to see some unknown dude come out of nowhere and just blow the doors off of Mercedes, be in the points, have it come right down to the last race of the season. Have like 5 guys all have to make us, I would love to see that and have none of it Mercedes or Lewis Hamilton. Not knocking Lewis Hamilton, but that would make the sport more exciting. Having said that, I still think it's Lewis's to lose. And when he leaves the sport, he will leave it better than he found it.
I still think also, though, it's going to be closer. I think it will also come down to the last race or second last race. It's going to be closer than recent years. I think Max will finally give Lewis a run for his money. But that's just me.
I can see that. No, I can see that because he's been knocking on the door. He's right there. Mm-hmm. And again, I think Honda is really going to throw everything at it this year, and it could be Verstappen every weekend with Hamilton second. We could see another great drama play out, like a Lauda Hunt or a Prost and Senna, and that would be awesome to have something like that. Just where they're battling each other every race. It's like everybody else will slow down and let those two go at it. We'll fight who comes in third, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. That actually brings us to our next issue. Another track in the Middle East. It is the new Jeddah Street Circuit. It has 27 turns. It is the longest street circuit on the calendar, modern calendar. Just under 4 miles. It is at 6.175 kilometers. And I'm just seeing like they did it like an illustration of what it looks like when they drove on the course. It is very narrow, very hard to overtake, like many street courses are.
Yeah, it's almost like Monte Carlo.
Yes. Now, one of my favorite courses, and we talked about this off air too, Mike. Is Singapore. because that's one of the very first races I got introduced to, and so it's
Yeah.
in my heart as one of my favorite. However, it is also a course that's very hard to overtake. But just seeing this, it does not have many like long straightaways where people could overtake, and it's just really, I don't know. Like with sprint races, I might have to see it firsthand to see how if I like it or not. But going into this, it doesn't seem too appealing. I don't know if you saw like the simulator of it or not.
Yeah, I'm looking at the layout right now. It's unique, but it does remind me a lot of Monte Carlo.
Hmm, very true.
It's got the two ends, which are tight curves. It doesn't have the huge S curve leading into the tunnel like Monte Carlo does. But you're right. There isn't a whole lot of. There's one straightaway. The start finish line is the straightaway,
Hmm.
and then there's just a lot of sweeping turns. I think there's some good places to overtake, but you're right. It's pretty tight. It's pretty claustrophobic.
Going 200 miles an hour down there, it's like, I don't know.
It's like a TIE fighter trying to blow up a Death Star.
Well, it's like
That wouldn't be good as one of those guys on the radio, right? Especially if my driver was driving this, because I'd be like, stay on target. I think on my back end's loose. Stay on target. I'm losing steering. Stay on target.
probably like Red Bull with gasoline, push, 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 push. I am
I'm
pushing.
losing pistons out of my engine. Stay on target.
Oh,
My wing came off. Stay on target. I think my humor would be lost though on the team. I probably wouldn't last long. Probably get fired.
I can see that. I could probably.
Yeah.
Um, no, but this is all about money. Trying to get another race in the Middle East, which is,
Yeah, which is fine. I mean,
but and we're going to
they do
talk
it
about.
upright. I mean, they do it upright.
Hmm.
And I like those night courses with the lights and the LEDs and they're so pretty, very pretty.
In fact, I was hoping to get into this later on because we're going to have another discussion, and we'll save this when Chaz comes back. But there's a potential second course for the United States, and it's either posed for either Miami or Las Vegas. I
Uh-huh.
presume it's probably going to be on the NASCAR track, like the ovals. However, two things: either one, either Las Vegas or Miami, street course at night.
Hmm. That would be cool.
Both lit up at night. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Going down the straightaway, going around the city, whatever the case may be, it is going to be absolutely beautiful at night. But so before
Well,
I mind,
I agree. I agree. That would be cool to have another course like that.
hmm but said before, I might just have to see the Jeddah Street course up and close. Well, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia, but up close and personal, watching on TV to see how it is. But um, outside going in doesn't look too appealing. Probably just looks like another Abu Dhabi or Sochi or something like that. It's just like,
Well, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. And lastly, it'll be regrettable if we don't talk about the late Murray Walker on here. I know we're a little part of the
One of the greatest.
latest channel to do this, but I was hoping Chaz to be here too. But um, I'm kind of glad you're here, Mike, to talk about him because I mean he leaves a hole. I mean he left a hole when he retired back in 2001, but um, he basically revolutionized commentary not just for Formula One but across the sport realm.
Oh yeah.
Watching the monitor as the cars going by. I mean, he was reported on that. I mean, what we saw, he saw, and that's how he reported it. And it's so beautiful. And just a few of this, some of his favorite sayings from me is quote, either the car is stationary or it's on the move. Next one is
He is literally the John Madden of F1.
I love this one. The lead car is now 6.9 seconds. In fact, that's just under 7 seconds. I love that. And I got two more. The lead car is unique in every way, except the one behind him was exactly identical. And my favorite of all time, there's nothing wrong with the car except it's on fire.
And some of his banter with Hunt when they were in the booth together, they actually had they unplugged Hunt's microphone, and they had to pass the microphone back and forth because to prevent them from talking over each other. And they had some of the best singers, man, because Hunt, he's he didn't care. And oh my goodness. Yeah, he's great.
He was Hunt was pretty dry when it comes to commentary, and with Murray coming in so explosive like that, they was like almost
it was perfect.
You think it's oil and water, but it's just
yeah.
But
well, it's John Madden and God dang it, his partner.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
who was real dry. But yeah, he had some great ones.
Anything that stands out for you about Murray Walker there? Any particular race or?
Well, it's just he's kind of one of the guys, and you're right. When he retired in 2001, it's the guy that is the announcer now. Eerily sounds similar with the high pitched British accent, and I think they did that by design because that. Like anything else, when you watch a sporting event and there's been a commentator that's been a part of that sporting event for so long, it automatically in your mind connects you to that sporting event. Murray Walker with F1, you got John Madden with NBC football, you got Dandy Don Meredith and God dang, all these names are flying out of my head. With boxing, I never played the game. Who's that guy? I can't believe I can't remember his name. But he was one of the first Monday night broadcast. You just connect it. You connect whatever sporting event that is with that person, and that was him. And again, he had some great ones. I mean, he was like a fan. Talking about the race like we would sitting in a bar talking about the race.
Yeah.
And that made it cool and it made it special.
He will be missed, but he leaves a legacy for, as you point out, the commentary now is very eerily mirrored. But by design, Murray Walker and that's one thing I fell in love with Formula One other than like NASCAR and stuff like that. It's just like the announcers. They get so excited, and even whenever at the start of the race, lights go out.
Yeah.
I just that anticipation just for the race. They bring it every single time, and I love it.
Yeah, Martin. What's his name?
Now let's go and drive me.
Looking up the names right now. But he sounds a lot like Murray Walker.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I can't find him.
Well, we'll put in the comments if you do find it or not. But
Alex Jaquez.
Oh, there you go.
Alex Jaquez. He has that Murray, the high pitched, kind of fast talking British accent, especially that first. I love listening to the start of the race because it's just he's rapid fire, man.
I love that.
He's rapid fire.
Said before, that's what made me fall in love with Formula One too. It's just like those announcers really draws you in. They get excited about qualifying, which makes me excited about qualifying. because that's how you start the race. That's how you go. Just like even whenever it's like at the very end of qualifying, when they go over the race, when the time runs out and they come over the finish line, it's like, and Lewis Hamilton keeps the pole. They're just so excited about it. And just had before
again.
Again. But they also
huge surprise.
But they get excited about that. They get excited about lights go out, and the lights go out and start the race. They just get so pumped up, and especially into turn one. If it's like something like Monza in turn one, there's going to be a wreck. There's going to be people hitting one another, and they just like, and you can see like Sebastian Vettel hits Lewis Hamilton. Oh my God! They go out in the gravel. It's like
it's Hamilton out of the race. Hamilton with 2 flat tires going back to the pit row in the first lap. Here's the Jeddah Street Circuit in 2021. I was wow, got a flat tire. That's awesome. That's exciting.
I love that. But yeah, he'll be missed, and said before, it would be regrettable if we don't talk about him. And I'm kind of glad you were here to do that with Mike, and just yeah, it's eerily resemble, but I mean, there's nobody like Murray Walker.
Yeah, one of the greats.
One of the greats. But that would do it for us this week. In the meantime, join us on Twitter. We're going to have a new poll out for you. Who's better? Who's going to have a better season, Sergio or Carlos? Make sure you vote on that on Twitter. And once again, like, share, and subscribe for us, please. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so we can grow and you can stay informed for us. And we'll see you next time right here on The Form of Racing.